Studying the work, Pele Yoeitz, and right now we're speaking with Amos Hashem, the mitzvah of the love of God. And he writes that if a person reflects and understands the level of benefit and value which Hashem provides for us in every aspect of our life, every moment of our existence, it is impossible it should not evoke the level of love that a person would have for what? For any human being. And this is endlessly more. We say on paper things make sense. But, life is not on paper. Life is the way we live our lives. And I always bring this up. A child that's raised responsibly by parents, the parents are giving and loving, unlimited. From the time the child's born till the child finishes school, marries off the child. And the parent is always concerned about the child and provides for the child. And if a stranger would do 1/10,000th of what a parent does, the level of indebtedness to the stranger is greater than to the parent. On paper, it doesn't make any sense. The parent should be endlessly more. But yet, the stranger who provides a fraction of what the parent provided, yet touches the person in a way where the person feels a level of indebtedness that nothing's too difficult for that person to reciprocate. And it evokes a special feeling of love and positiveness to that poor person. Hashem is no more than the parent, even though he's beyond the parent. But yet we feel to a person who does a fraction of what Hashem provides, more positive, it resonates within us much more than Hashem or than a parent. How do we somehow make sense of this? Reconcile this with the reality. We're good people. We're good people. We want to feel indebted. But yet that sense of indebtedness is not there, as it is to a stranger, to a mortal. I mentioned not long ago, there's a saying that a mother has room for 10 children. 10 children don't have room for one mother. Everybody's bickering, it's your turn, my turn. Each person should be eager to accommodate the mother. They should feel honored and privileged. But yet that's not the case. So we see, as I said, on paper, it makes sense. But in reality, that's not the way we process things. The question is why. And maybe differentiate between God and being a recipient from a mortal, where the benefactor is a human being. God, as much as we believe in God is abstract. We don't see God in real time. It's conceived. So that we receive, since it could be attributed to randomness, to happenstance, because everybody, the whole world are beneficiaries, so that somehow blurs and minimizes the effect on one's feelings of being a beneficiary. But what about a parent? But you see, that's not the case with a parent. The parent is in real time. Parent raised you, you have memories, and there's no way you could repay a parent if you lived 1,000 years for what they did for you. We're talking about good parents, providing parents, loving parents. It's not the case. As I said, a stranger would be a fraction of that, and you'd feel more indebted, more beholding than to your parents. So what I explained in the past, which may be back memories to some of you, what is the essence of a person? The essence of a person is his ego. That's the essence of every one of us. If somebody acknowledges me for me, then he's succeeded. Then he's won me over. Because I feel valued. I feel valued for I. When a parent loves a child, when a parent provides for a child, why does the parent provide for the child? Because it's for the child, or it's because it's the child of the parent? There, the emphasis is not on the I. It's you are my child. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my child. When a stranger does for you, why should he do for you? He's doing for you. And what he does for you, that means that's the person. He's touching the person. I value you for you. When a person feels valued for him and he has that sense of acknowledgement, you've won that person over. You've given everything. You've given him his identity. You've validated him. A parent doesn't validate the child. The reason why so giving and loving it, because I'm your child, because I'm an extension of yourself. Like if you love yourself, you love me because I'm an extension of you. So therefore, even though real time we see it, but the way it's processed and the way it's understood, it's not understood like a third party doing for you versus a parent doing for you. So when he writes here, how we should be thankful, how we should be beholden, how we should be excited, how nothing should be too difficult. Conceptually, it's right. But factually, as human beings, where we have all our foibles, we have all our shortcomings, as you say, it makes sense, but a third party who is a bystander, how could you be unappreciative to your parent? How do you speak to your parent this way? How do you only call your parents once a month after all they've done for you, when they're always thinking about you? The bystander understands it, but the person himself, since he hasn't been touched in that way, he says, I understand what you're saying, but there's always the but. And the but can't be explained, because the but is the essence of the person. Person feels entitled. I feel entitled automatically. That minimizes the level of appreciation. You're entitled, correct? If you feel as a child of a parent that your parent, you're entitled, if they brought you into this world, they must provide for you. So therefore, you're entitled. The moment that entitlement feeling comes about, automatically, it masks the reality of what the person's receiving. Right? Of course, the parent is not going to cut the child off because it's the child. But what's the entitlement? People feel entitled. I think, you bought me a Chevy for my birthday. You should have gotten me a sports car that cost 6 times what the Chevrolet cost. You may believe that. I feel entitled. Entitlement is not a reality. But if you feel entitled, automatically, that includes the reality of what you're receiving. A stranger, there's no sense of entitlement, because that stranger can tell you where to get off. It's only due to his positive feelings towards that person he's providing it. A parent, you could play the entitled card. With a stranger, you can't play this entitled card. So because with the stranger, there's no entitlement, you see clearly that you're a recipient of that person's kindness, the goodness. As a result of that, it touches you differently. It's not only the ego. Well, the ego is part of the entitlement also, the ego, with a parent. So the moment you strip the person of entitlement, the person sees it clearly that he's indebted. With a parent, you have it, we have a problem. I'll tell you, a democracy, people feel I'm entitled, whether I work, whether I don't work. If I'm a naturalized citizen, I have a right. I have rights. When you live in a monarchy, we had to thank the king that you're alive and that he allowed you to breathe and he didn't exile you to who knows where. And every moment of your existence is only due to his kindness. And the king says, provide food for that person. No entitlement. You have no entitlement to your life. Not that you're alive, you have to be thankful. Therefore, you have true subjects. That person was a subject for the king. When a person realizes he has no choice and there's no entitlement, he submits totally to whoever that master is. If he feels he could overthrow the master, that's a different story. Because he's not going to dictate my life. But if the question is, if he doesn't, you have no life, then you submit to him. And you appreciate whatever he's providing, even allowing you to live. You know, it's interesting, Reba Avram Avinu, by Avimelech, he was the Philistine king, who originally took Sari Menu, initially wanted to take her as a wife. And afterwards he says to Avram, I want to enter into a covenant with you. Because he says, you realize I could have hurt you, and I didn't. It was unjustified for you to hurt me. What do you mean you could have hurt me? I could have hurt you, and I didn't. Therefore, you owe it to me. It's an interesting way to see it. Here, the king feels entitled that Avram is bound and obligated to enter a covenant with him, which binds Avram because the king could have hurt him. This is like warped thinking. What do you have a right to hurt me? Well, if I'm king, I can do anything I want. And I feel justified in doing it. So if that's the case, I'm entitled to do whatever I want. Even to act inhuman and act with cruelty. But simultaneously, the subject who's a victim of that understands he's not entitled. So if that king who could see things in this warped manner could do anything, even which is the antithesis of justice, and he doesn't, he's thankful. Because with this king, with this monarch, he has no entitlement.